So today I'm gonna do a few facts, the differences between my home, which is Ghana, and China. So there have been like, obviously when you move to different places, you notice some differences. So I want to just mention some key differences. Maybe if you'd like to come here, it would help you know about how the culture is here, or something like that. Just basically just something educative about the differences between my home Ghana and then China. So stay tuned. So the first thing I want to talk about is how both countries greet. So in my home, when you see someone, especially an adult, you have to say good morning or good afternoon or good evening. How are you doing, right? I don't know about other places, but in Ghana, it's quite common. When you come to China, it's quite different. If you ask how you doing, like ni hao ma, sometimes it's quite awkward. I don't know why. I've not yet figured out why, but it's quite awkward. They rather greet like ni chilama or ni chifan lama, meaning have you eaten? And you know, if you're a foreigner, you're like, why are you asking me? Are you gonna give me food? Like, do you have some food there? Like, maybe you'll be excited that maybe the person has food, but then you just find out it's just a greeting. They just say like ni chifan lama, then maybe you say yes, then you're like, okay. Then they just go. Like, it's quite awkward. Because in my home, if you ask someone if they've eaten, you should have some food somewhere that you're about to give to the person. You can't be asking that question for no reason. But that's just basically one difference. The second thing I want to talk about is the weather. So in Ghana, I think we have two seasons, the Hamatan and then the rainy season. So basically the rainy season, it rains as it's stated. And then the Hamatan season is more like the dry season. So it's more like there's a lot of like dust around and it's dry. People get a lot of colds and stuff during that season. So basically that. But here, they're supposed to be like 4 seasons, right? But it feels like it's always winter. It feels like it's always winter apart from summertime. Like almost like, I don't know, that's just to me, like 8 or 9 months, if not 10 months are cold for me. I mean, they're raining seasons, like when you're moving from one season to the next, you see a lot of rain and all that. But basically, it's almost always cold where I am. And then the summer is like super hot. Like, you just really want to remove all your clothes and remove your skin in addition, and then hope that some form of air is like super hot. I know Africa is hot, but I didn't think any other country could be hotter than the continent Africa. Like, just basically, like, it's super hot. It can get to like 40 degrees. And usually back at home, at least 24 to 30 or something. But here, like, the summer is really hot and you just... yeah. So basically, so it's always either cold and then you just don't want to get out of your quilt, or it's super hot and you're like, oh my God, when will this end? So, like, basically, yeah, those are the weather differences. Another thing is the housing in Ghana. So basically in Ghana, people buy lands, or some people rent, but most people kind of like buy lands and they build on the land. So it's like you own your property, and so you build anyhow. Nobody has like can say anything about it. But here in China, people don't own land. The land is owned by the government, I think, or some companies, I don't know. I think the government. And then they build apartments, like flats, what we call flats back at home. They build like flats or apartments, and then people can either rent it or buy it for a couple of years. You can't own it forever. After some years, it just goes back to the system. So basically that. And like here in China, I really love the housing systems, because like in Ghana, someone can buy a plot of land or 2 plots of land, build a house in the middle, and then the rest is just a compound. And so it's like, to me, like when I came here, I felt like we've been wasting so much land, because here every space is utilized. Like either there's a garden somewhere or something, and then the apartments are quite close, so it's like they're utilizing every single space. There's nothing that's going waste, and so I really admire that about the Chinese apartment system. And the thing I don't like about it is that sometimes people can hear you from outside depending on what the plan is for the apartment. I mean, if you make a lot of noise, you can be heard. Unlike back at home, if you have your own land, your own house, maybe you wall it. Maybe like people will not hear what you're saying, or if friends come over, it's not like that kind of thing. But when you're living in a flat and stuff, you have to watch how you speak, the volume of your stuff. Back at home, people like to jump, like play really loud music, especially our guys, like play really loud music, something like that. You can't have it here because you'll be disturbing your neighbor, and so that's kind of like the downside. But the good side of it is like you can have like 32 stories, 16 stories, I don't know, like really, really high buildings, and they are usually very beautiful, and so it makes like things really nice. Okay, so for me, for example, I'm living on the 25th floor, and that's not like the highest floor. If you look down, it's a bit scary, but the thing about it is that if you look down, you see like the lights and everything. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful looking down, like staying very up. The downside to it is that if the elevator messes up, that's a lot of walking. That's like a lot of walking to do. So yeah, that's basically it. And also it seems like from research, it seems like in the US and some other places you can also own land, but here you can't own land. You just can't. And even the renting, as I mentioned earlier, you can rent for a couple of years. Your family can buy the apartment for a couple of years, and then it goes back into the system. But renting is much more common, which leads me to the accommodation prices here. Okay, let me use myself as a foreigner, for instance. If you are renting, the cheapest could be 1,500 RMB or yuan, as we call it. I'll put the conversion down there, so just look down there. So the cheapest could be like 1,500 for a room or two, depending on your area, but usually 1,700, 2,000, 2,500, 2,800 per month, which is quite expensive actually, because if you're not getting money from anywhere, I mean, yeah, so most of the students, especially, they just live on their campuses. And in Ghana, you rent 300, 500, 700, luxurious 1,000, I don't know, around that side. But I don't know if anybody necessarily rents an apartment for 1,500 and 2,000, 2,500, and that's quite on the high side. And the difference between the Ghanaian currency and the Chinese currency is not so different. Like, the Ghanaian currency is a bit up by a bit, just a bit, but it's not so different. So it's quite on the high side. The payment system. Okay, this is something I really like here. The fact that I don't have to carry money and worry about someone stealing it from me is so much, like, it gives me so much joy, because back at home, you never know who pickpocket you. Like right now, if you try, I don't have money on me. I never have money on me. You just have to carry your phone, and the phone is basically your life in China. If you go out and your battery dies, I mean, I don't envy you. Or if someone steals your phone, I don't envy you. Your phone is your life in China. And so with the payment system, I think in one of my videos, if you go to the cycling video, where did I fall? So I'll put the link up there. You can see that I used two different types of payments. So one where they had to scan my QR code, and then there was another where I had to scan their QR code at the supermarket. So you can check it out. And so you basically, it's your phone, and it's so easy. It's so easy. You just have to pick your phone, and you don't have to remember anything. You can just go out with just your phone, and you have everything on it. You have money, you have the map, you have directions, you can pay for cabs, you can pay for food, you can pay for everything with your phone. So life is much easier. Unlike in Ghana, where we have the cash mostly, now there's this online thing like the Momo, which Vodafone Cash, Mobile Money, MTN Mobile Money, Airtel, Tigo Cash. So that one, is on the phone, but I mean, people use it, but in the end, they still try to withdraw cash. So it's a mixture of the two, but cash is more common because we're so used to it. I mean, we can't really trust the e-system much, but it's growing. The online cash industry is increasing actually as time's going on. People are putting their trust in it more. Let's just hope the e-levy does not stop that, but that's just by the way. Okay, so that's basically it for the payment systems. So the good thing about China is that if you happen to your phone happens to die or something like that, and since that's your life, there are power banks outside, just like the e-bikes. I mean, there are power banks at places, supermarkets and stuff like that you can go and rent. But I'm wondering how you're going to pay for that. So I just guess, like, when your battery is about to die, you just find the nearest supermarket, Subway, or like big shop, you know, those places where there are a lot of shops inside, and then you go rent a power bank. You don't have to pay it till you're putting it back anyway, but it registers everything, because in China everything is registered. Like, you have, like, just to do anything you need like your passport details and a whole lot. I don't want to go into that, but basically, yeah, so everything is registered, so it's easier. Another thing is Chinese people drink a lot of hot water. Like, it's crazy. Like, even during summer, like where you like it's burning hot, they drink a lot of hot water. For me, it tastes like medicine. I'm like, do I have to, like, even during winter? I'm so ashamed of myself, but I can't bring myself to drink the hot water. I know I should, but it tastes like medicine to me. So I drink normal water, not cold water all the time. But I drink like normal water, which is like cold because the weather is cold. But Chinese people drink a lot of hot water, and I guess it just cleanses their systems, and you don't get a lot of cold and stuff like that when it's really cold, like during those times. So it's very healthy. It's very, very healthy to be drinking a lot of warm water, unlike back at home in Ghana. Either cold water, the weather is fairly like almost always like warm or hot or something like that, so people like to drink more cold water or like normal water, but here they drink a lot of hot water like all the time. Another thing, another difference is smoking. So back at home in Ghana, smoking is not a regular thing out there. I mean, I'm not saying people don't smoke in Ghana. There are people who smoke, but it's not a regular thing. It's one of the things that we kind of like frown on as Africans, and so it's not so common. But here, I honestly, if you have asthma, it's better to just stay at home, because here smoking is common for, I don't know even if it's common for teenagers, but it's common for like university there and above. Like, you can smoke anywhere, smoke anytime, and it's a common thing. It's a common practice. Like, it's not a taboo. And so some of us, like this way, like we don't like to inhale it. It's kind of like so hard. But then apart from that, it's kind of okay. So that's basically, there's a lot of smoking here. Maybe like other countries, but it's not too common in African countries to just be smoking around anytime, any day, without looking around whether anybody is going to be affected. And so that's, if you consider that, that's quite a different scenario. We're going on to the transportation system. Here, it's so easy. I mean, okay, the thing about China is that everywhere is far. Like, everywhere is far. So there are buses all around. Then there's a train system, subway. And then I think we have speed trains. So you can even get from here to a place that's supposed to even take you like 10 or 15 hours in like 2 or 3 hours, because there are speed trains, there are faster trains. And then in the cities, the ones that go around the cities, they are more slow, but even that one, they're quite fast because it's much easier. You're sometimes faster than cabs. And then we have like the Didi, which is like Uber. So you get the app on your phone, you just call and like a Didi, which you guys call Uber, and then they come pick you up. So the transportation system here is very cool. It's just that if you sometimes to get to the nearest bus stop can be, but then we thank God for e-bikes, right? So if you see an e-bike, you can just ride it to the nearest bus stop, which could be far from where you are standing. And that, yeah. But in Ghana, it's also actually quite easy to get cabs, because sometimes they just come to your, like, in front of your door, depending on where you are. And we have things like trotros, which are mini buses. I miss trotros. I don't know why. I just miss that whole. The difference between, like, why I miss trotros is that in China, a bus can't just stop anywhere. They have to get to the bus stop, and sometimes the difference between this bus stop and the next bus stop is really far. But for trotros, which is like the mini buses, like, you can just say, mate, me see, like, I'm getting now, like, here, and then they'll just stop. Ouch! I miss that. Like, sometimes when, like, the next bus stop, you have to walk back. Like, it's just, if you have to get down at point A, it's further away from point B. Like, it's just confusing. But sometimes you just have to really go to the next bus stop and then walk like 20 minutes back, because that's how far the distance is from one bus stop to the other. And you're like, if only I had a trotro, I'll just wait, like, mate, me see. And because they really want their money, like, they'll just stop. Like, it's so convenient to be in a trotro or a taxi in Ghana. But here, I mean, there are laws and nobody wants to break the laws. Kind of like, I'm not saying Ghanaians want to break the laws, but it's much more convenient actually taking a trotro. So yeah, I miss trotros. The life. Okay, so that's it about the transportation systems. Next up is the culture of, like, eating together in China, where you go out to eat together. So with the Chinese people, the thing about going out is that whoever really invited you out, when you go out, the person will probably order whatever they want to order, like a full table. I should have a video, so I think I'll show you a video where there's a round table. They order a lot of things, so you come and you eat what is there, and sometimes you don't like it.
You can do it.
But you go there and then you, like, have to eat that. Unlike back at home, you go out to a restaurant with somebody, you order your food, I order my food. Like, it's just simple. I don't like what you like. I may not like what you like. I may like what you like, but I want to eat another thing plus eat your food, right? I don't know, those who are in relationships, you get it, right? Like, the lady just wants to eat your food and eat her food. So it's like, we order something different. I like that. Like, let's order something different. Let me eat some. Let me, like, that kind of thing. But here is like, you come, you don't know if I eat that. You don't know if I'm allergic to that. And then you just order like a full table and I have to just manage with it. That is hard, but then maybe you may get something you like. So if you do, then yay! Then, like, it's quite exciting. If not, I really miss, like, going out there with some people and you just order your food. I order my food. I mean, it's just my food. I have what I want to eat, but here they don't really ask. They just order, then ask you, do you eat this? Oh, this is nice. You should try this. This Chinese food is nice. Like, this is nice. And you're like, sure. So that's basically it for the. So yes, that's quite different back. And then also back at home, there are these vendors by the streets. I mean, Chinese people have vendors by the streets, especially in the night, but it's not supposed to be so, and it's not so common, but they do have. But I miss, like, going out to buy wache, to buy a cheke. Like, you go and you say, Amelia, Mama wache 2 cities. That feeling, man, that feeling is so good. Like, or you go out, you go and buy, like, there's food just everywhere. But here, like, a lot of times you have to go to an eatery and stuff like that. And you may not like the food because you're a foreigner. But then there's some really good food. Like I really love this huamanji. Yes, huamanji. Like it's like chicken soup with rice. Yeah, that's really good. Dumplings too. Sometimes it depends. It took me a very long time to embrace dumplings, like almost 2 years. But then when I tasted it, some of them are really good. So I guess I was just doing myself right. Okay, the last but one thing I want to talk about is construction. So in China, every single time there's construction, like every single time you wonder, like, what exactly are they changing? Like, you cannot be in a place and it will be the same for like a year. No, there's something always going to be going on. They're changing something. Maybe it's the road, maybe it's the types of, like, everywhere they're constructing something. I guess the engineers get a lot of money because there's always something to change. There's always something to make it better. So if you even go back home and you come back, your same area, you may not be the same kind of China, like same area. But back at home, things take a very slow time to progress. I don't know whether it's because here maybe the government does a lot of things, so it's like the funding is there, unlike back at home. I'm not saying the government does not fund anything, but a lot of things you have to fund yourself, and so you will not be changing things every single moment or every couple of months, like that kind of thing. So here things are not the same. And the last thing I want to talk about, I think I talked about it in my third video, challenges in China. So you can check it out here. So that's the spitting. Back at home, you don't spit anyhow. No. If you want to spit, at least excuse yourself. Go to the corner, spit. Or find some grass somewhere and spit. And some people even like spit somewhere and then they use maybe the soles of their feet to kind of clean it so that it's not so nasty. Here, no, you can just be standing there, then you hear the sound from, like, I mentioned that there's a lot of sound, so you just hear the sound from your direct back and you're like, God, don't let it touch me, don't let it touch me. I felt like that so many times. I've always, like, every single time I hear the sound from my back, I always freeze. I'm like, I hope this is not going to touch me. I hope this is not going to touch me. Jesus, please save me from this pit. And most of the time it just lands by me or behind me or somewhere. Oh my God, I've laughed so hard. And I'm like, kind of like insulted the person in my head, like, why would you do such a thing? And it's just crazy, like, and it's common. Like, some people can even spit in the train and in the buses and nobody's going to fine you for that. I don't understand that, but like, who am I, right? Who am I? Anyway, thank you very much for staying tuned. If you haven't checked out my other videos on my life in China, please check it out. I'll post it somewhere at one of the places. Like, just look left, right, center. It's somewhere. It's just in front of you, okay? So just check it out and watch it. I hope you enjoy and you have a great time. So I love you guys so much.